Hello and welcome to Global Morning. It's good to have you on this Saturday morning. How are you doing? Hope you're good. We're here to bring you exciting issues, topics, every conversation you want to have on the weekend in a relaxed atmosphere here on Global Morning. I am Anita Patrick and I won't be doing this alone. Of course, I have my co-host with me, Mukhtar Kasim, and we're going to bring you all the exciting things. Mukhtar, it's good to have you.
Good morning, Anita. Good morning, world. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
You're looking like the new year already.
This year there's this particular song that's been playing in my head and I kept playing all through the Nami get this year in Mulokon.
We get down. Of course, it's going to
so
be.
I'm going to bring you into the picture of it is our year and our time to shine the lights and feel great, because this year, of course, will need to be great.
Yeah, it's a year that has a lot of potentials, a lot of promises from government policies. The president has told us it's going to be a great year, and we also are optimistic as Nigerians that the year is going to be, like you said, our year collectively, all of us. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the year is going to be a great one.
And of course, the president has also said that it's a year of hope. Every other government has said it's a year of hope. So let's be hopeful and see how it pans out in the long run. Hopefully, every policy implementation will favor the citizens and everybody will feel the need to smile to their bank.
Of course, that's the essence of government, putting smiles on the people's faces. And I hope the government is able to do that. And we as citizens, we have to contribute our own quota to making it easy for the government to realize this dream, because government alone cannot do it. You're all stakeholders in this project called Nigeria.
Of course, it's a project called Nigeria, indeed. And you're here, don't worry, we'll bring you our rundown, which is basically the first, is a newspaper review segment where we'll bring you stories making the front page covers of our dailies. Also, we'll bring you a discussion segment where we have topical issues that you want to sit back and find out what is interesting about these topics. And also, we'll bring you a bit of aerobics if we have the time to bring that to you. All of that is a part of our packages lined up for you on Global Morning. Please stay with us as we quickly go through the front pages of the papers.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
You're welcome back from that break. It's still Global Morning, and it's about that time where we'll go through the dailies. That is the newspaper review segment. We'll see all the stories that are making the rounds. And the first paper for review today is the Weekend Trust. The Weekend Trust newspaper has a bold picture headline, as he always does. It's typical of the Weekend Trust. It says, Kano politics, Kwankwaso versus Yusuf. Of course, we know we've heard rumors of making rounds throughout this week that the governor of Kano State, Abba Kabir Yusuf, who is of the NNPP, is about to join the ruling APC. And of course, That's the story that is making wave here on the Weekend Trust. But away from that story, you go above the masthead, you see a story that says, "My ambition was to be captain." And that's Major General David JB Warren, retired, speaking. If you want to have details of this particular story, pick up the Weekend Trust newspaper on page 12. That story is there. And just beside that story, we have another one that says, "Wadata inside Makurdi's oldest Hausa settlement." Details of this story is on page 29 of the Weekend Trust. And another story here says, "River Park Estate, AGF directs termination of charges against Ghanaian investors, Sam, John, and 4 others." And let's look below the mass headline. We see a story that says, just below the picture story that is, it says, "How Nigerian prisons become tuberculosis hotbed." That's talking about safety concerns and health hazards around our prisons here in Nigeria. And hopefully the authorities will do the needful to stop this impending disaster. And a bit of story that's not pleasant, just beside that story says, 6 siblings die in Plateau, night fire. And details of this story is on page 27. Anite, we've seen the headlines, and do you have any? I know you always like the infographics and the picture story that comes with the Weekend Trust. How do you see this particular one here?
You know, I've been trying to dissect what this actually means. Is that scissors? Yes, it is actually.
They're severing some ties.
Saying this tie has to go, and I like the way it's telling the story. But the interesting thing is that they still have their red caps, and on shows brotherhood trying to break off.
And
that's my own dissecting of it. This shows brotherhood trying to separate, you know, like siblings who are supposed to be family, trying to say, I can't take this anymore. The intensity, the drama, the chaos, it's something that is not giving me a healthy mindset to want to participate and give my best. That's what I am just trying to dissect in my head.
That's you being philosophical here. Well, you know, typically of politics, we always put politics in Nigeria especially always is one that interest comes first.
Yes.
Regardless of whatever it is, that's an underlying relationship. So I think that's what's playing out here.
So for me, that really shows a whole lot. It tells, if you want to give the real guide of all of this, it tells a whole lot of in-depth drama that plays out when siblings rivalry plays out. That's the way I try to understand, because politics, like you mentioned, has to do with interests. People want to tell their own story and how it benefits them more. So for me, I think the governor is saying, I have had enough.
It's time for me to make the next move.
Move to the next move and see how that pans out and pays off for my people whom I intend to serve and give the dividends of democracy. But that's it. That's what politics is about.
You know, people have been asking, all these defections, wave of this, it's not the only person, but there are other defections.
Yes.
People have been asking, are they really for the people, or you're doing it for your self-interest?
Well, you know, this is 2026. Thank God we're in a new year. And
very close to the 2027 elections.
It's going to be the year of primaries, a whole of campaigning and all that ahead of the 2027.
Yes.
So all of this drama will play out very well this year. So we'll see how it pans out for the politicians. But one other story that caught my interest is the fact that how Nigerian prisons became tuberculosis hotbeds. That's really sad. If you see, that means there's a whole lot of need for the health sector to pay attention to the prisoners or those in captivity, the inmates there who need serious attention to see that this does not spread, because it's airborne, right?
It's very airborne, and you know, it's called a correctional facility. They're supposed to correct these people, not put them in hazard. We've seen images making rounds on the internet where you'd see how inmates are packed like sardines in those rooms. That's an inbreeding process for different viral diseases. So please, the prison system is supposed to reform. It's supposed to also show that reform has to do with health. So we have to take this serious. Do not allow our prison become a safe haven for tuberculosis and other viral diseases. Well, and this is also heartbreaking. 6 siblings dying in Plateau night fire. I know one of our colleagues on this program talked about the issue of fire safety during the festive period and all that. So for me, I feel that we need to try as much as we can, pay attention, be careful, and look around the house before we go to bed. Check out for any need to turn off appliances, turn them off
And then, because we don't really know the depth of this, but I think when we pick a copy, we'll find out what really caused that fire. But just part of precautionary measures, we need to pay attention to electronics, checking our gas cylinders, and ensure that we turn them off and everything is safe before going to bed.
And you talked
Just
about
to play safe.
festivities. We've seen incidents mostly during the fest. I don't know why it is like that.
I think it's just too much excitement.
Exactly. Because we saw in the FCT here just last week, I think it was either on Christmas or New Year Day, a particular restaurant, popular one actually, was engulfed in flames during this festivity period.
Yeah.
Even in Lagos State, we saw an incident Christmas time. So why are these incidents reoccurring? And that's one. Another one is people have said, why don't we have emergency response timely? Because before these fires would get to this stage, we're supposed to nip them in the bud. The responders are supposed to be there to curtail these fires, not let them become disasters like we've seen. So it's a wake-up call to the authorities to be proactive in terms of disaster management in Nigeria.
Okay, well, that's the much we have there for the weekend trust. Let's quickly turn our focus and look at what the Vanguard, Saturday Vanguard, is saying to us. It says, with the major lead story, it says Nigerian economy 2026. Twin engine plane, one on fire. Then we have writer that says masses not benefiting from improved economy and discrepancies that derail 2024 budgets repeated in 2025 budget repeated in 2026. We also have Cardoso brilliance on monetary management's fiscal policy still failing us. That's coming from, that's on page 10, right? You can pick up a copy and find. But let's talk about this a bit.
I like how it's crafted, first of all. 2 engines.
You know, when I said
one on
2
fire.
engines, I was thinking it had to do the aircraft. But now I'm getting the picture clearer.
Nigeria's
and it has
economy.
Nigeria's economy.
Yes.
Good enough. We have the CBN government
Policies, yes.
bringing a lot of policies. Great, amazing policies, trust me. But are they really meeting
The expectations, the yearnings of the people.
You know, so that's one concern that Nigerians are raising and saying that it's high time we pay attention to all of
We
this.
want to see these policies translate into real-time
Yeah.
physical results.
I'm telling
And
you.
the government tells us every time that these policies are not overnight magic.
No, they're not,
They're going to
actually.
take time. But how long of a time? The people don't have all day.
But all the time, people just
to
want
this.
results. And
Exactly.
soft life. You know,
this is
I
2026.
was scrolling through my phone over the night, and I saw something that shows the need for one to live and not just survive.
Honestly.
Because I see Nigerians just
We're
trying to
surviving by the
surviving because of the basic things they get. Don't get it wrong. Some are living very large and very comfortable
In the same Nigeria.
In the same Nigeria, but it's
polarization.
not. It is not enough for the ordinary man who also wants to live. You know, so I think that engine needs to be fixed.
Of course, you talked about people living life well. The question is, what is the percentile? For me, that's a question I ask myself.
Exactly.
Is the majority of the people living this soft life, or they're in the minority? Because if you see countries that we like to look up to, they call them the Siena climes, and their populace are having the basics. Electricity is a basic. It's not too much to ask for. Water is not too much to ask for. Security is not too much to ask for. But if you come to Nigeria, those things, they seem like luxury. And that's not how it should be. So in this 2026, I think the people should be served the dividends of democracy. They should feel the presence of government.
Okay. Well, we hope that gets to play out for Nigerians in 2020. But let's look at the story there that also comes up about politics a bit. It says, with Obi joining ADC,
Yes.
we are closer to Asurok. That's Ladan Saliu speaking there with so much confidence. And that story is on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. I like the fact that we
both had to because
anyway, it's politics. Anything can happen.
Of course, people are saying the ADC are gaining grounds. They're no longer the
Because Peter Obi has joined.
Yes, Peter Obi has joined. Atiku is there. Many stalwarts are there. So people are saying these people could actually be a formidable force ahead 2027. They could put the president on his toes and give him a run for his money, if you like.
You know,
but like you always say, it's the people that would eventually have the final say.
You know, this is politics, and I'm a journalist. I just want to talk to the story. So let's get away from that story. But we say good luck to him and the ADC.
And for me, good luck to the best man, of course.
Yeah,
Whoever it is that will deliver.
We just want to deliver the
dividends of
that's what we're
democracy.
looking at. But let's go away from that. We have what it says, Bayelsa community where residents walk to death on Akemfa Bridge. Okay, so I think that's one bridge that you shouldn't walk to through. But I don't know. We need to pick up the paper and find out what's happening there. Is it something that has to do with
Safety?
Safety,
Is it that
the
the bridge
construction
has
is
been
not.
dilapidated?
You understand?
What's the story
What
around
could
it?
be the major concern that causes that it has to be of serious concern to the Nigerian people.
And moving to the next paper on our lineup, that is the Saturday Tribune newspaper. And it has this leading story that says Anthony Joshua swaps seats with late friend moments before crash. And details of the story is on page 3. But it has two riders. One says, driver drove without license and arraigned in court. Dad said vehicle's brake failed. That's the driver's son. This is a very sad story for me, Anita, because two people lost their lives in this particular story. And Anthony Joshua just was able to escape death. But we're seeing the fallout from this particular incident now. You had to take that deep breath, didn't you?
You know, when I saw the story, when it happened, I really felt devastated because this is a young man that just won his championship on the 19th of December, and he was excited coming home to celebrate his family, loved ones. This is something he does every year. He comes around, he comes home
during the festivities.
You know, comes home to spend time with his family, and this time around he's coming home and he's going back heartbroken because this is actually
two of his closest friends.
Yeah, you know, closest friend, his career, people who pushes him so hard to ensure that they get him to stand on the world stage, gone. For me, I was talking to a friend and I said, this is a whole lot of trauma for him. I just pray for
he's able to recover from these.
It's going to take him a while.
It will.
And his career has also taken a new turn because it's going to taunt him because this is something that you were physically with there, not like you were absent.
You also
escaped it. And look at what we're hearing now.
He swapped seats.
You know, there was only God knows why there was a reason for him to swap that seat, for him to stay on. But I don't know. But some people tell you that there's need for him to try and put himself together and see how he can come back. That's a way of living up the legacy of his friends. But that's up to him to come out of this shock. Because for me, this is a real shock and real painful. Because I watched the videos of his friends and himself when they landed in Nigeria. The excitement of coming home, you know, to want to spend time with family. And this had to happen. Well, we'll just say hard luck to them. And for the driver,
that's an interesting turn, actually. The driver is now arraigned in court?
Yes, he's arraigned in court because for me, I've been on that road before. I was on that road, I think in April, around April or March or thereabouts. And I know how that road can be. So I don't understand why from Federal Safety Corps, it meant that it was supposed to be they said it was overtaking from the side.
Reckless driving.
So all of this are part of the investigation that is actually ongoing. But you know, on that road, I know that road is not a road you should speed on. Because following the intensity of the way the crowd of people, the way the place is always jammed. So what were you speeding for? And look at the way the crash happened. A truck was parked. And you went away because you're trying to overtake. Where were you running to? Because no matter where you're running to, at this point you're stuck. And you're going to live with that guilt that it was you that drove this vehicle and ran this vehicle off. So a whole lot of things and lessons people need to take from this. When you're driving, you need to be patient. You need to know that there's life after all of this. Wherever you're going to, it is who gets there on time and safe.
That's the best driver.
That's the best driver.
Not who's the fastest.
Experienced driver. Experience is when you arrive safe and healthy and alive. Not by speeding up. Like when I was coming out this morning, I was like, please don't run with me. Just take it easy, you know. So that's just part of the measures people need to take to themselves. And I just wish Anthony Joshua would recover speedily and get out of this shock, because this is really, really heartbreaking.
Honestly, it is. It is very sobering, and we hope they find the ones who have passed, will find peace wherever it is here. And for Joshua, like you said, hope he recovers from this and comes back stronger like the champ that he is. But moving away from that story, let's go above the masthead and see a story that's not so pleasant. It says, over 150 bandits attack Kano communities. That's on page 3. Insecurity again making the headlines and anything.
Well, insecurity has become one conversation on the front burner that Nigerians have been talking about and trying to see the way out. And then we have the international community also coming in for us to see how that can be safe. I see that they've on New Year Day, New Year Eve, into the crossover into New Year. New Year also had where the international community, that's the US, actually also dropped the air strikes and all that to see how they can cope that. And now we still have these guys regrouping and remobilizing themselves and attacking communities. And I'm hoping that we get to an end where we stop talking about insecurity in Nigeria.
Honestly,
because it's actually hindering a whole lot for us. Investors are supposed to come in and give us the best. We hope that comes to an end as soon as possible.
Because this is a different dimension. Kano has not been known to be one of those places that are regularly attacked. But like you said, those people have been targeted in other places. So they naturally would regroup and recalibrate their steps. And this is it. But we hope the security agencies would swoop in and do the needful with this particular story. And moving on, just next to that story, you see a story that says large-scale defections to ruling party signal democracy in decline. That's Professor Toyin Falola speaking. And the details of the story is on page 8 and 25 of the Saturday Tribune.
Well, we've seen the defections. It's not new anymore. So
but do you agree that these defections are saying that democracy is a signal or a pointer to the fact that democracy in Nigeria is actually dwindling?
Well, there's nothing we can do right now. It's just that people are going in for, I don't want to put it the way it's playing in my head right now, but people have the reasons why they go. They talk about internal party crisis and all that. So if it's about democracy, they want to deliver dividends of democracy. That's why they are moving to where they think there's calm, there's progress, there's growth. And that's one of the reasons why they feel the need to move. So I don't think it's about is dwindling. It is also people wanting to go out to give their best where there's stability. In
platforms that they feel will give them the best opportunity to do that. But I think Prof's concern is because they will tell you that in a democracy, we need to have a healthy and thriving opposition that would always keep the ruling.
We still have
party.
opposition.
Do we?
We still have opposition. We have the likes of ADC, we have the likes of the PDP and all that. No matter what the crises are,
they're still
trying to also stand tall in their party and see that they give the best of themselves to the people.
True.
That's
so
one argument you should
that hold. Democracy, opposition should also be there stronger to be able to challenge the government and put the government on its toes. So.
Yeah, of course. And then we have Malami, wife, son to remain in prison till next week, and that's on page 3. You know, I saw on one of my social media pages where the former senator Dino Milai was, I don't know how true that story was, showed where he was smiling through when he saw all of this happening in Malami and saying, remember when he was jumping from court to court. And Malami was the
AGF at the time.
And I just smiled. I said, life is actually in phases, you know.
Today you're in power, tomorrow you're somewhere else, which shows you that whatever it is you're in, for me, the lessons here
just
is
do the right thing.
Do the right thing and be humble.
But we're not concluding the case.
Of course, we're not preempting judgment. Yeah, we're just speaking to speaking to the story, like you like to say.
Yeah.
So we hope that if he is innocent, then the courts obviously would do the needful and discharge him. But if he is not, we hope the full wrath of the law will take its course, so that we see people being held account for their actions.
All right. So let's move away from that story and tell you what we still have about that. It says terror war. Muslim leaders warn Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to stay clear of Nigeria. That story is on page 4.
Well, that's a very tricky one. Netanyahu has been in the news, and Muslim leaders are saying he should stay clear. For me, whatever it is, like I always like to say, national interest for me is number one. If the cooperation that Nigeria has had with the United States is one that would help us become a safer country, then it's welcomed. But of course, we also have to know that Nigeria should come first. If the people have said the US has got an ulterior motive, whatever that ulterior motive is, if you're working in the international system, like we always like to say, you can't walk alone, but make sure you're also working on terms that would benefit your own people. So I think that's all I can say about this particular story. And moving away from that story, you see a story just below that particular story. It says, the woman I married after 8 years as widow fights me with harmful objects, threatened to kill me. That's domestic violence they're playing out. Okay, so this is now playing out from the male side, where his life is being threatened, not the female part. You know, they say men do not cry, but men also suffer domestic violence. I've seen your face. I've seen your face. Let's clarify that thing. That's a misconception. First of all, no, I think the fact that I tell men that forget they're an African man, but when you're hurting and there's need to cry, please cry. Show your emotions. Show emotions, because people hold back to their emotions and end up in the grave. That's what kills them, because if you hold in these things, you eventually start to develop some
heart conditions,
hypertension, and for you are gone.
It doesn't mean you're a weak person or a weak
doesn't.
man or anything. An African man, they tell you don't cry. Please cry. When there's need for you to, you need to. Like I always tell people, I do it sometimes when I'm going through a phase or storm and I feel the need to. I go into my room, I cry, clean up my face, and I stand up tall. Doesn't make me any weaker or less of a person.
Exactly.
It's just emotions playing out. So when it gets to that point, please just get it out. Don't stuff yourself up with the whole thing, and then at the end of the day, you now end up with having an ailment that is not even necessary.
True.
You know, talking about that and that, there's also have where it says limelight is exciting, but peace is priceless. That's the Afrobeat icon speaking there, Sean Tizo.
You know, he was. There's a time that his song was the banger. It was the song of the year.
His
every
peace
party
of mind,
and all.
he didn't have
But
peace
now
of
he has just gone under the radar and he's telling us that the peace of mind he's enjoying now is even better than the limelight. And I think I agree. Whatever limelight it is that you are enjoying, that's not giving you peace of mind.
It comes with the price.
That's
Trust
just
me.
it.
It comes with the price. So it is how you manage through it and live your life. You know that some of them will see them hide their private life from the whole public space,
yes.
that you don't interfere. Because trust me, gist is sweet when it has the people's personal life.
True.
You know, in the entertainment industry.
True.
But when you have your space and you can do your thing freely and live like a normal human being and still do your entertainment, whatever thing you do that picks you out in the limelight, it's sort of.
You talked about gist being sweet, but people oftentimes forget that these celebrities are people like us. They also have their vulnerabilities. They're superstars, yes, but they are not invincible. So we should cut them some slack and not always be on their case.
With the line of content creators we have, do you think people want to have them rest?
Honestly, they don't want to, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy.
All right, so let's move away from that and look at our next paper, Saturday Punch. Saturday Punch has its own story, and this is leading with the bold headline, says sex scandal, popular pastor steps down as PFN mulls sanction, and rather says Christian leaders meet, police demand petition, leave our pastor alone, members tell victims. That story is on page 4. Well, pick up a copy and find out that story has been trending all over the place on socials as well. So we have above that story, we have terrorists dare Trump kill skulls. Okay, this is looking like a Nollywood movie now.
It's back and forth. What can you do? I'll do my best.
I saw a video where the boys were rolling the
bomb that had not exploded, and we were like saying some abusive words in language, but that's not the best way to handle it for me.
Oh my God, Nigeria is such an interesting place. We're amazing people.
Of course, we always try to find humor even in the most grievous situations.
But that's not humor, for God's sake. That's not funny. I was telling myself, what is this? You know, well, it is what it is. Like you always see. So let's go above that. You also have where it says silent groans of men were battered by violence.
This is a recurring headline, Aniete. You are seeing it already.
I've never said men were not violated.
You know where I'm heading when you say what men can do.
Is that what you're bringing in? That's sarcasm. Don't bring that. But that's not even.
But it's not actually. But
you know, I always talk about this. I always don't just stick to just the women folks. I love to speak for women.
Yes.
But doesn't mean when they're wrong or something is wrong,
you have to call them out.
I call them out and I speak to the fact, because the truth is, like I always say, gender is both male and female.
Certainly.
It's not just a woman thing. So when something is wrong, you need to speak up. There are men who don't like trouble.
True.
And I don't know how God does this thing. See people who have opposite, character get married themselves and say they love them. So at the end of the day, the whole drama plays out and it turns out to things like this. So I always tell people, when it's getting too tough and the atmosphere is intense, please take a walk.
It's better.
It is who is alive that can tell the story. Marriage was not meant to kill people. It was meant to build.
Like you always like to say, marriage is not a do or die affair.
It's not a do or die.
Even though society has got stigma for people who have left their marriages.
Give me stigma. It doesn't matter. That's my life.
Society speaking. But for you, the first is self-preservation.
Yes.
Your life is sacrosanct, and you have to make sure you protect it with all that you have, even if that means you leaving that particular abusive marriage. It's not worth your life. It's
not worth your life. You don't need to die before. If you die, who tells the story? What happens? The whole essence is defeated. So please. Live to live, like they always say.
Live to live.
Live the scene and be alive to tell the story.
And just below that story, you see a story that says bystanders stole Anthony Joshua's phone at accident scene. That's not a pleasant one because, and that's his uncle that is speaking, so he's someone who is close to the situation. Why would somebody have such an accident and the thing you're reaching out for is his phone? Are you reaching out to call his uncle or what? Are you reaching out to keep it safe
So
for him?
I want to work with the mindset of what you just said, that apparently they got it to get a contact to call him. Maybe the phone is somewhere.
Yes.
I don't want to even think about that.
I just want to be positive because it's actually not a
probably
good
get a
one.
phone to reach out to see how you can get a family member. But I hope.
But his uncle is saying this
But
one has been
please,
stolen.
The uncle is now involved. The uncle is now aware that something has happened to him.
Yes.
Please return the phone.
Please
The phone
do.
is-
Please do.
So he can reach out to people. He can reach out. He should be able to reach out. So thank you. We look forward to hearing that positive news.
Yes, we hope to hear that the phone has been returned to the
Oh
rightful
my
owner.
God.
Let's move away from that and talk a bit of politics. It says APC controls 28 states as Plateau governor defects. Wave of defections.
You know, when the APC national chairman had gone for his mother's burial, and then it was is it the deputy governor or the palm sec that attended. You know, then the governor was not of the APC.
Yes, he was with the PDP.
I kept thinking in my head, will this man eventually defect to the APC? Because the APC power mind that got into that state was shaking, man. And it showed a whole lot
people
of
have said that this defection has been a long time coming. Why? Because the structure of the Plateau state was already APC. Most of the members of the parliament, most of the commission of the parliament, assembly and all of them were already in the APC. The governor was the only person who was standing alone. And they were like, can you stand on this foundation?
You know what I'm saying? So saying this now is not surprising.
Not new, actually.
It's not surprising for me. I just knew that it was going to happen eventually. But that's it. Well, how suspected ritualists tried to harvest my eyes. Lagos-based lawyer.
Oh no.
Organ has investors. Not funny at all.
It's not funny.
Well, that's it. Let's also tell you, Canada deports 366 Nigerians. 974 awaits removal. Woman loses 6 children in Plateau fire. Well, let's talk about this.
About story earlier. But this deportation is a big one. 366 Nigerians is a huge number.
So, no, and then we still have 974 awaits removal.
Yes.
So let's look at this number. That's above 1 million Nigerians.
Above 1,000 Nigerians.
Okay, I'm raising to it to 1 million because I'm already looking at the number and saying if we look at this in the next how many years? How many Nigerians are looking out for greener pasture?
And don't forget, Canada has been a choice destination because before now they used to have a bit of a flexibility in terms of accepting immigrants. But every country now is trying to rethink their policies and put their people first. And the question now is, why is our own government not thinking in this direction? Because I don't know why they're deported. Maybe let's assume they have irregular papers or they have committed some grave offenses. But that number is a huge number if you ask me, Aniti.
Well, it is happening, and then that's it. But let's move away from that paper and go to our last paper for the day, the Nation newspaper, which also has its own headline. Talking about the defection there of the governor of Plateau State there, and also Kanu, who had planned move unsettles Kanu as well. You see that story going there. But let's give it the right. It says NNPP National Committee dissolves what? Local government state ESCOs. Court affirms suspension of Konkoso's ally as Kanu's chair. I'm still PDP member. Alphonsus Walkara insists.
Yes, above that story, you'd see a story that says EFCC to Bala Mohammed, that's the governor of Bauchi State. Stop making wild claims, with a rider that says only immunity preventing trial of governor on 2017 charges. Details of the story is on page 2 of the Nation's newspaper. Also,
we have Rivers, no second chance really
for Fubara.
Says I saw that video and I was like, okay, we'll find out how that pans out. But governors, loyalists, will collapses factional PDP into Wike's camp. That story is on page 6. And then another interesting story there coming about the Nigerian former Minister of Finance.
Yes.
Kemi Adeosun says my resignation as Finance Minister, not admission of wrongdoing. So what was it about actually? That story is on page 23. Find out when you pick up a copy of that paper.
And just beside that story, you see a story that says alleged 8.7 billion naira fraud Court rules January 7 on Malami orders bail request. A rider that says grants 500 million naira bail to Bauchi Finance Commissioner Adamu.
All right, so we have last story that says Constitution Review. NAS proposes 4-year tenure for local government's chair, and that's the story there that makes it the last headline of our front paper stories, papers that made the front pages of our dailies. And we say pick up a copy of all the papers and find out what the details of the stories are saying, so you can be well equipped, well informed, and be able to give out detailed information to anyone who's asking you questions around.
Most definitely. It's been a good one.
Well, that's it. That's the much we can take on this review segment, particularly this hour. It's time for us to quickly get into our discussion segment where we'll bring up our guests who will be joining us to talk to us about the issue you don't need to miss. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Good morning once again and welcome back to Global Morning here on Global Television. And it's time for our first discussion of the day. It's a new year, and for many people watching, this season comes with reflection, it comes with many resolutions and big questions about work, about income, relevance and what the future holds. Now across the world and here of course in Nigeria, the conversation around jobs are changing. Employers are asking different questions. Industries are evolving, and increasingly what you can do in this economy is beginning to matter more than just matter, or maybe even more important than what it is you have as a certificate. So this morning we're having a timely conversation, and we've titled it Beyond Certificate, Thriving in the New Skill Economy. This particular conversation is not about dismissing education, far from it. It's actually about understanding how the world of work is changing and how Nigerians of all ages can position themselves better in this new year. And joining me for this conversation is a development and workforce strategist who works at the intersection of education, skills development, and employability. He is the chairman of the Students' Chamber of Commerce and also the founder of the Association of Student Welfare, Ambassador Victor Adetolaju. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. And let's start from the basics. I like to define terms. When we talk about the phrase, the new skill economy, what does it really mean in simple terms?
Okay, skills, breaking into the nitty-gritty, the granular level. Skills is actually simply dexterity, ability to confront situations from new mindsets and with new set of capacity, right, that fits into the present need. So, when you say new skills, that means life itself is dynamic. Issues, problems are dynamic, they are not stagnant. So, because they are dynamic and not stagnant, we must evolve new skills, new way of doing things. And it's very important. It's very, very important. Thank you.
That's interesting. So now what has changed about how work and how values are defined currently as opposed to previous times?
Okay, yes. So the essence of work is actually to be able to drive society and drive impact to the next level, especially to give satisfaction and to be able to, to explore aspirations, right? To make people say, oh, I was here before, now I am here.
Yes.
Like one day, Elon Musk just sat and said, we must be multiplanetary.
True.
That alone, that kind of thought alone in itself shifts consciousness and reality and say, okay, we've been to the moon, but we need to be multiplanetary, right? He has been able to define a goal, simplify it, and then look at how do we achieve that. So there is a set of understanding and knowledge that must evolve to make that happen.
True.
Right? So somebody sat down and felt that I'm tired of the analog way of communication. I want to speak to somebody that is on another continent in a minute. So it defines, it changes perception. It changes reality, and that now defines what work is. And immediately that that means that is the means to an end, right?
Yeah.
So that means everyone around now must begin to shift consciousness to those kind of deliverables. Yeah, so that's why we now have ages. We have the agrarian age, we have the industrial age, and we have technology age. Becoming like that.
Yes.
Then we are in the internet age.
Yes.
You understand? So internet of things. So that means the consciousness that we are pushing the envelope as man on the planet. We are pushing the envelope, and as we are pushing the envelope, the way we interact with our environment, that's actually what work is. Work is actually how we interact with the environment. So the Wright brothers, they discovered that we could fly. We should be able to fly.
Yes.
And they test run, and they came to a point that they developed mechanism to fly. And the whole industry is born. So before the Wright brother discovered that, there was nothing like the aviation industry. There was nothing like the pilot. There was nothing like the air hostess and the things and the likes. So immediately that happened, we have to begin to have, people that will begin to actualize those effects of interaction with the environment, right? So when you talk about the internet also, then you are talking about communication.
Yes.
You understand? So that there must be communication expert. So the dynamism. So over time, we see that, like in the agrarian age, the crop timelines dictate the way we engage with the environment.
True.
But industrial age came and said we should not wait for nature. We can actually engineer these things. So we now begin to develop mechanism, and the whole industry was born.
True.
Right? So skills are changing as people are waking up to discover that there could be more to this reality that we are living in, right?
True. So now this conversation feels especially important as it is a new year, and many people are planning their next moves as the year has reached a new development. We see some people are unemployed, some people are underemployed, others feel stuck and they are unsure of their relevance. So why should the idea of skills versus certificates matter to an average Nigerian right now?
Okay, there's a thinking principle called the principle of first, right? And that's what people like Elon Musk and the Steve Jobs of this world, the Amazons, Guy Jeff Bezos, they use in thinking is the principle of first. Like, how do we break this down to the nitty-gritty? And we try employing that at the Student Chamber of Commerce to actually influence the new narrative and thinking of the Nigerian student, which we have been supporting for the past 10 years, more than 10 years now, to be able to bring a consciousness, bringing it home. Like I was mentioning about the successions of ages and generations earlier, is that unfortunately, the world that our education system, I studied education, was built for no longer exists. That's very sad to say.
Wow.
Because the curriculum that we're currently using in Nigeria was last updated more than 40 years ago. I'm telling you for a fact. That's statistics.
That's
the whole overall, and I will tell you, I mean, like I said, we study these things for a living, is that the bulk of our curriculum was developed when the rush to the moon was actually in vogue. So our curriculum was tailored after that, after South Korea, after US, Germany, that we wanted to put a man in. That was the rave.
For Nigeria.
For Nigeria, I'm serious. You were surprised.
Yes.
So then those things were crafted to be able to solve that to produce that kind of workforce. Nigeria used to be at the cutting edge of technology. I must tell you. In health, in farming, a lot. We used to be, especially with the influence of the colonial masters. In fact, our roads and everything that you see in Nigeria, the infrastructure, the trains, roads and everything, speaks of how Nigeria supplies and feeds economies across the globe.
It's a colonial legacy.
Yeah, that's the colonial legacy, yes. And which, that's what South Africa built on. They just took it from there. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that the bulk of what we do, imagine learning Fortran in 2007. Do you get? Like, I came away with so much evidence in my heart, actually, a whole lot of evidence, because I saw a video of a guy, radical thinker in Canada, and he's a Nigerian, and he was saying Do you know, I want this to be practical because my intention is actually to shift consciousness in the mind of the Nigerian young people,
yes,
and be able to take barriers away from them, that you are not locked down in the four walls of the classroom any longer. Now, so this is what the guy said. The guy said, practically, as we're speaking right now, there's a guy that is learning about how to mine golds, how to drill oil with new technology in Japan, in China, and out there. And there is no Nigeria, or many Nigerians are not even aware. But in 20 years, that small guy that is learning that in China, in Britain, will come to Nigeria and come and lord it over that same young person that is not paying attention to that kind of skills.
Yes.
So when you are talking about skills, I will share some things in the line of the conversation, but let's talk about that. That when you talk about education, certificate and skills, we use in our organization as an organization system thinking. We used to think that we need to bring consciousness to the Nigerians today about skills, 21st century, the future of workplace and stuff like that. But we met some industry experts recently, and they gave us an insight and said, and I'll give you some statistics to back this up, that no, don't teach them new skills like that. You know, it's good because we are focused on the Nigerians today. Why? You know, when you look at our advocacy, is that the Nigerian students are students that have passed through a lot of Rubicon. They've done their O levels. So they are shown systematically that they are serious. They are ready for change. They want to be better themselves and things like that. Now, that's why we want to enhance those people that are already. We have about 1.8 million of them in Nigeria, right? I want to start thinking in millions because it's very important for a country like ours.
True.
Now, what we have done, some schools, we have established skill acquisition centers. We've even partnered with some of the institutions to establish Directorate of Entrepreneurship and Vocational Development that is very, you know, individual, like on its own, a directory, where it's compulsory for students to learn skills like tailoring, fashion, you know, to enhance their academics and have a additional certificate, right? Now, when we met these experts, they were like, no, because when they learn those skills, especially we brought in artisans that are actually practitioners, that will meet industry standards, because there are also schools that are vocational schools that are dedicated to these things. So what we should do is actually teach them entrepreneurship according to the course of their study, and I will show you. Now, so a student that's studying medicine, now learning entrepreneurship from us, from the Student Chamber of Commerce, should have entrepreneurial thinking in medicine. That is, in the next 10-20 years, what aspect of medicine will be trending? So we have many students that are studying medicine, they don't know the business aspect of medicine. Like I was learning about one of my friends, he's a medical doctor. Now he has his hospital within 5 years, 10 years of practice. That is entrepreneurial thinking. But there's some that are stuck, they're looking for the best pay, and that's why we have the brain drain happening. Because our normal academic pursuit is not infused with entrepreneurial thinking.
Yes.
So that is on that. Now, the other aspect now is that our curriculum takes time to be able to take shape. Like I just said, we've not had any consensus to upgrade our curriculums and everything for a very long time, right? And we've been churning out the same. So the other aspect also now is that, you know, recently we began to have this vocational trend coming up. You know, I went to school, I went to law school, and now I'm a fashion designer, you know, very powerful fashion designers. But this is something that it does to our national thinking and psychic, is that the budget of Nigeria for education is to produce a certain number of agriculturists, experts, maybe extension expert, accountants, medical student, right? They are quotas, right? So when you now graduate and we have 500 accountants trained this year, but do you know out of the percentage of that 500,000 accountants, less than 2% of them will practice as accountants? I will show you. I will show you. So those guys have left and they've gone to do other things. You understand? But so we have templates that we are studying. We're studying the Germany template, India template, the US template. In the US, the last time we checked, education contributes about 2% to their GDP. But Nigeria is a minus. Do you know how many oil companies? Dangote will tell you it pays education tax 1%, it pays this tax 1%. So all those things goes into education, but there is no pipeline of how education contributes back to the economy in real time. Are you getting me? So before we talk about individuals, let's talk about these things systemically. Let's look at institutions, government agencies, MBAs. How does Abu Zaria, University of Port Harcourt, is University of Entrepreneur, Lagos State University, how does his output directly impact the society? We are not even talking about research alone, the products. You understand? How are they? Look at the MITs of this world. Kodak, these institutions were parallel with industries. At some levels, these industries are coming to pick you up. So I've raised a lot of issues, but I'm saying that our statistics are not matching up because the kind of understanding and skills that our students are having are not matching. So we have conscientizing students that say, it is that accounting you will still add entrepreneurship to.
Yes, whatever it is you're studying, just find an entrepreneurial angle to it.
You understand? So that this conversation this morning is not separate. We have matched everything. That your skills, your certificate enhances your skills. That means the entrepreneurial skills that you have to do enhance. So like one of our students, sample story online of our student from the University of Abuja. She studied agricultural extension for 5 years. Now she's graduated, she's confused. She doesn't even have a way out. That's what we do with the association, with sensitized agencies and organizations, to say, take consciousness of this student because they are the future of the Nigeria. Now, this student is now learning videography. And she came to us like, I studied this for 5 years. Am I leaving it to go and do videography? And we sat that down and said, no, you don't know. You just became an agricultural extension that is a media savvy. Now you have capacity to now go back into the agricultural sector to showcase what is in it. So you are not just an ordinary videographer now that does not have a core skill. Now you have a core skill, expertise sitting down in your inside, that you've done your IT, you've done your CWS. Now you are carrying the camera, you have the media understanding, and then now you can literally
showcase,
contribute
to your own original skills.
You are now an enhanced agricultural extension. So that's your core skill. You are learning this for 6 months, 8 months. Then you are using it to enhance what you already studied.
True. So you talked about students, and I know you're very passionate about them, but I would like for us to see it on a larger scale. Not just students now, people who are already in the careers, people are even towards retirement. How can they leverage on this new emerging skill technology to also enhance themselves, not just students now, but even career people?
So good. Of course, we have to talk about this today. They are the baseline. I've always said that they are the baseline, because if you don't take care of them, the future is bleak. Yes, so this is it. For people that are currently, engaging the world, like I mentioned, work is to actually satisfy us, our ambitions, to be able to say, oh, I make the world better. And many of us need to come into that, especially people in the public service. Now, I used to say that the people in the public service, many of us don't really pay attention, but the people in the public service, especially civil servants, they are the backbone of any nation. And do you know from research and engagement with them, they are one of the most brilliant set of people. Indigenous, geniuses are there, a whole lot of them. But what happened is that when you come into workforce, one, you have to understand your skill set and the contribution you need to make and the overall understanding. Now, at that level of understanding, you must also be aware that life is not static, right? It now boils down to actually the national goal and everything that we are crafting anyway. But as for personal goals, and that is why, because institutions are moved by individuals that do their work better in contribution to the collectives, right? So when you see that, don't be tired of jumping on trends. I remember when the computer came they were encouraged. Courses were taken, go and learn this.
Yes.
Because I met the age of typewriter, typewriter everywhere. But you see that transition
to computers.
Do you understand? That's what we call mainstay. So if the nation has refused to move to that place, and those changes didn't happen suddenly or at once. It was individuals. Look at the ATM. ATM technology is a 60 years technology in England. Yes, before that's what called technology gap for innovators, right? But it came when we needed it, when we came into that consciousness and evolved. And somebody, wow, there's something like that somewhere, brought it in. So yes, one of the issues with system is that these systems is more reactionary because we consume technology more. And that's what we are tuning our students to now. Create, be innovative, look at problems, solve them, be indigenous with problems you're solving, right? Use your skills that you're learning to solve indigenous problems. So people at workforce, don't limit yourself by the limitations that you can see. Be indigenous, and don't say like somebody said, all these things we even learn, where are we using it? You have not doubled the creativity. You see, many of these staffs are sent across the world to go and learn one thing, go for conferences. But do you know the onus is on you beyond your pay grade. That if you can implement this change, if you can go at it, yes, there will be bureaucracies, there will be people that are attacking you, even at that level that you are, that you are able to create this. And it will be like a domino effect. Oh, that department, they just changed to LCD. Wow, that's cool. They are now using, maybe it is one. That, okay, and that's what we are teaching, because our organization works with bottom-top approach. We don't want the government to come and do everything. We want the students to say, in this level where you are, you think you are unimportant, you are very important to the whole collective.
True.
Right? So when you think holistically like that and you take responsibility, the next skill that you need, your organization can learn, why not do it? I have a story of a lady. I was in Lagos recently, and I was listening to my international organization, and there's a procedure they do in that organization, manufacturing. They take about 3 weeks for that process to complete. And she knew that this thing should be done faster.
Than 3 weeks.
That it should be faster.
Yes.
She paid somebody in Pakistan to learn that skill, came into the organization and implemented it. What takes 3 weeks takes 30 minutes. That's it.
Why the
The organization moved forward. She's been recognized. She's in rooms that many of our age mates cannot even dare. The promotion she has gotten in that organization, very rapid. So that is organizational change from individual. So my organization, she means just 30K, they are even paying me. Should I?
Does it really matter?
So when you double up, you are going to stand out, and that's what skills are for. Now that lady went to learn how things are done. She told me she paid people on Fiverr, paid a lot of people until she got the person that could understand that stuff on her own, by herself. So we when institutional thinking jam intentionality, we are all going to be better for. So this conversation is not just to improve you in your skill and say your work, get more pay and something like that. Looking at it holistically from a broad view, panoramic view, you will see that step you have not taken might be what is holding this country back.
So let's talk about certificate versus skills, because there's a saying out there, I don't know how true it is, you tell us, that certificates no longer matter. So from your perspective and your experience, is that a statement grounded in fact, or is it the fact that it's the way we use these certificates that we actually have?
Okay, you see, when you talk about certificate, it's just it's certification. It's to certify you.
Yes.
Look, now, so when you say certificate, it's like it's to show that you've gone through a process, and that based on that process you've gone through, you have been satisfied that you can actually replicate those processes that has happened.
You've gotten some skill set.
You've gotten some skill set, and there's a body that has satisfied you and say, oh, this guy was in this conference, this guy has been here for 4 years, this guy was, and this is the grades. We assess this guy. One, it is very important to know that no institution and one body can certify all the capacity and the ability that is in you. Very importantly. When we have that as innovative thinking people, you will understand that your certificate does not put a limit on you. It actually propels. It gives you a launch pad. So now, certificates and skills. So do you know if without skills, your inherent skills, you don't even qualify for any certification? So like I'm trying to blur that line, that skills and certificates, they are not, so like you hear things like school na scam or that, like education is the key, but the padlock has been stolen and stuff like that. Yes, very practically. It's the reality that a lot of people experience because those thinkings have not been individualized. Because you are looking from a systemic angle.
Perspective.
Yes, so like I mentioned, let's go back to the agrarian age, in the industrial age and stuff like that. So the industrial age, academic really, the institutions came to bear, especially promoted by people like the Ford and stuff like that, is that the assembly lines needed more people that are more cultural, and this is a practical reality, that are more structural in their thinking.
Yes.
You know, and people that follow order, and you know, it's not like the agrarian. You can wake up by 9 and go to your farm, just time the sun. Time you are working with the moonlight.
Yes.
You know, the cow will be asleep by this time. The leaves, you know, you are just using those kind of, you know, deduced knowledge. Now we want to put this knowledge in structural forms so that we can have unique output. We want to be able to have predictable results, right? We want to be able to giga in 2 hours and get this is the output that will happen after putting these 2 hours of effort, adding 2 + 2 and that. So that is why we had the former schools, right? And actually, when you even date it back to the Roman Empire, the rich saw that the children were, you know, developing behaviors that they could not control. In fact, those, you know, we are arguing about 40 students to 1 teacher. In that time, it was 1 student, 1 teacher. And all of them can now meet and have conversations of what they are doing. But it's 1 student. A family will employ 1 teacher for their children. You understand that? Say, okay, so it was the teacher that was being rotated, not it was the teacher that was coming on the student going, right? So, you know, that's why we have the Platos, the Aristoteles, now structuralizing these conversations, right? Now to this time, we now have those structures to produce a form of knowledge for a certain type of work. You know, I mentioned it the other time. So that's why the structuralization was. So we needed somebody in the office to be in the front desk. We needed somebody to do the accounting because the population is growing, it's expanding and things like that. You know, we needed. That's why the typewriter came in, the calculator came in, because computations were becoming more than just my fingers, right? Or 10 toes, or the tilting of the sun, the tilting of the moon. We needed a clock to be predictable. If we don't have predictable clocks, you can't even fly an airline. True. You know, we need to map where is Kotangura, where is Bauchi. We needed to have the map, and we needed calligraphers to write, to print these things. You know, and that's one thing we have not embraced in Nigeria. Like we underestimate the number of things that we use every day. No, we underestimate our numbers, and that's why people like in China, the Lebanese, many countries are catching on that this guy is about 200 something million, the largest market in Africa. But we don't see ourselves that way.
We don't leverage.
We don't leverage. You know, our clothes are still imported, our shoes are still cow skin exported, brought back to us in leather. Do you understand? True. Because we underestimate. Do you know the artificial air in Nigeria is in billions? The consumption, but you just bought a 250k air, 500k air, but in multiples. So containers come here, filled, and go back empty. They even said they have to put sand in some so that it will not float on the sea. So those are the consciousness you are changing. That's one. So that you are not just saying, now I'm not skilled, I'm not a petroleum engineer. You can't think. Like a student walked into my office and said he's a business education student and he's broke. I said, how now? How will you be broke?
It's a process.
I said, no. Those are the kind of thinking you should have before you come into study. You should be motivated. The tertiary institution is for adults. You should be motivated before you come and study this course that you study. And that's why we are encouraging that technology should empower. And we're going on that advocacy. Currently, we are going on the advocacy of cheaper airfares for students to mobilize across Nigeria, discounts and so that, even for international fares. Now we are going to advocate for systems. Not just phones, tablets, it's possible. We've had a test run in the University of Ilorin, right? And the student that came out from that production, bro, they're intelligent and very smart. I have some in my organization. They are and I told them, I said, you are beyond average because when you resume school, the school gave you a tab. And with free Wi-Fi. Now, Bosun Tijani, the Minister of Communications, is doing fiber across Nigeria. Is very wonderful, and we need to tap into that fast. So these students, he even studied international relations, but now he can do anything. He can do graphics, he can do data, because he had the system. While on campus, he had access. He's more brilliant smarter than everybody around him. So look at that he was able to. So I was telling that student, how many wristwatches are worn on this campus? How many students everyday students wear shoes? Everyday students eat food on this campus. Have you calculated it? The boxers that everybody wears, at least everybody, they use toothpaste and brush.
True.
Your friends in class, they use wristwatch. So how you cash that on that? That is for you being in school, you can't go into production. Now, as you are doing that in school, in fact, that school where we started the directory for interpretation, we have to go back to this because this is where these issues are. So, because before you go out, you are already dejected, you finish NYC, you tank, you don't even see the future. There's a book that was printed earlier. Before I go back to that, that was made for NYC the COP members. How it is made. There's a version of it for the US. How entrepreneurs, how they became. Channels TV is on it. A lot of platforms, how they were created. And it's given to COP members for free. About 2,000 COP members. Guess what?
Tell me.
70% of them left that book on the seat.
So there's no will to even improve on part of
so that case, and they're already made. So we are even focused on advocacy on 100 level, 200 level to craft this thinking. So before even the curriculum meet us there, like how many of them can we sensitize? Because that's the bottom-top approach. We are not waiting for the institutions. We are not waiting for the curriculum to change. We want to be able to have. So that student, it was a wow. Like a student came to us and said, "My father, I grew up in my father's mechanic workshop. I can repair any type of Toyota." The guy is in 200 level. I said, "How many Toyota cars are in this campus?" I said, "That's you're in money already." So that kind of system thinking, right? We have, and that is how the world works now. In Google, in all those organizations, they don't ask you what did you study. What can you do? Bill Gates said that we employ a lazy man because they always find a way to do things
faster. Yes.
So are they discouraging? It is those institutions that actually made education important. Like in Nigeria now, you don't have NYC, they can't employ you. Those are things that emphasized on certifications. But as I'm talking to you now, it is people that can do things. Like I just mentioned now that we've sustained some institutions. It's not because I studied it. It's because I saw a problem and I was able to provide solution. And people will call me. I don't like this coming to this. I don't know. You've not seen before.
True.
But because you see this guy is doing something, he could do this. He could do this. So and that is how exceptional things are made. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. My friends, when we go on holiday, we still want to talk to ourselves. It's very expensive to talk on phone. Can we find a way to connect?
True.
Yeah, some people want to date. Oh, you want that, like that fine girl. You don't have information about her. Is there a place where we can all meet? It built something. So this is the generation of the builders, the creators. What can you do with your code? This is the AI advent of the AI
technology and all.
Many things you can. Limitless opportunities.
So if I get you correctly, what you are saying is these skills or the certificate you have, they are important and they can open doors for you.
Yes.
But the skills you possess
will keep you there.
How far and keep you there.
It will show that certificate is really important. Lead by skill. So don't how did you get? Oh yes, I've gotten some certification from Google, Cisco, from Microsoft, from this, from that. In fact, there's so many people that are self-taught. I went to University of YouTube. I went to yes. There are many sectors.
You can learn almost every skill.
I went to Khan Academy. I went to Simply Learn. You know, there's this lady I was listening to. She said, YouTube taught me data analytics, and she's making money in dollars, right? So we must not be confined with the realities that have kept our parent bound.
You talked about data analytics, and that brings me to the next point. What skills actually matter? I'm building the question here. When we talk about skills, we see people talk about the ones we know: data analytics, cybersecurity, and fashion, vocational skills now. And the question now, from your perspective, what type of skills are important with regards to the economy that we found ourselves currently now?
You know, like money is going digital right now, right? You know, you can just be tweeting and then Elon Musk will send you money. I'm serious. I'm serious. In China right now, there are places that are dedicated, locations that are dedicated for content making. Yes. I'm telling you, like you're going to Alaba markets.
It's just for content.
Content. So people, organization go walk in there and just give you the brand. You market it. You have your green skin just like these individuals. So that means money is a reward for work.
True.
You know when you say, oh, so Elon Musk said he wanted to build the Tesla, the electric vehicles. Tesla is doing crazy in the market. Like it's very way above even indigenous organizations.
Of course.
Right? Because it thinks differently. So immediately he said he wanted to do EVs. Okay, EVs is going to be the next thing. He started employing guys.
Yes.
So his vision, money, investors, money, right? Believing in him. Now we need people that can drive these dreams and make it happen. Those are the workers.
Yes.
Right? So you have this rescue. Look at the AI race that we saw a few months ago. So about everybody's just employing AI. They're giving people guys millions, like
just for
I'm telling you, and it's not even sealed. They can even this week I have a robot. They were offered more money than players, right? So skills. The guys didn't know. They just woke up and saw that so that means skills and money. Don't forget that. So where is the money? That was saying that you are a medical doctor. Where is the money? You are a lawyer.
Where's the economic part?
Are you talking about, as a lawyer, let me give you a tip. Are you looking at AI governance now? There was a case in court that the case was won. Okay, the other guy got to pay money because the AI they use quoted the wrong data.
So that's a part of litigation.
That's AI, like intersection of AI. If you see how many AIs that have been built on law, even Nigerian law. Do you understand? So are you reinventing yourself? Look at the tax law. What are you doing around what is trending? Like I was saying, jumping on the trend, where is the money going to? Where is the money? Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are the things that. So when you talk about skills, you know I've said base it on what your core skills.
Yes.
If you are educated, and if you are not educated, look at what can the internet teach me. How can I dedicate time and say, oh, this guy, look at the rise of cryptocurrency. The guys that did this thing, they were like, we're tired of this fiat money. Let's just do something
new.
It was rebooked. It was disdained actually, but it's in the portfolios of many big organizations today. They are keeping
even governments now.
Governments, of course, El Salvador, Estonia. They are very key on that. You understand? So what again? So if you are watching the wagon go, when the bad wagon is going, it's already gone. It's already too late.
True.
So what is it that is trending? What are they talking on Thread? What are they talking on Reddit? What is happening on on your socials? And what are people really talking about? Pay attention, find out. So that is the capacity of man. Man is very diverse. I could meet you today, you are a journalist. Tomorrow I could see you as an oil expert. And that's what this age is for. You know, now the agrarian age. You were in Texas, you were a farmer, and you were going to be a farmer for life. In fact, it's your father's father that gave you that job.
Yes.
In the industrial age, my mom was a typewriter. You know, you get what I'm saying? She was this, you can't change jobs.
True.
But today you could be a data analyst, and tomorrow you are seeing that
security experts.
Yes, cybersecurity. As you are doing the data and you are making money at night, you are learning cybersecurity, you are transitioning. And nobody will come and say, why you trip you and say, Shebi, you were doing this thing before. No.
It's a very fluid space. You can just move
what he said, somebody said, move, you are not a tree. Even trees move. Because we do something for migration, they say, everything, migration is right. That's our thought on Japa. That Japa is a phenomenon that has actually helped this country.
How so?
Let me explain to you. So there was a time in this country that we only had one university and few universities, maybe around the regions. So after you graduate, it's just statutory, you move outside the country completely, like you go to somewhere like UK.
Yes.
Right? So do you know that the movement for the liberation of Africa and our independence, they were all structured outside the country by our diasporas. They met, they are all their Zikos, all of them, they met and have conversations. And, were able to speak the language of the colonial masters. That's why they were able to negotiate without bloodshed. So that was migration at work.
But in the current stage, we're not
so when the purpose of a thing is not known, or when we don't trim our virtues, they become vices. So I would say that so many of the elites, their second home is in the UK, and you can see many of the elites. So we have to just redefine it, like India is doing. Indian, Chinese, they send their children to Harvard, but there's a pipeline to get them back.
Come back.
They invest in their migration. So they don't demonize migration because they can see the point.
So
and that is systemic.
In the right way.
The right way. So what we teach our students is that you can go learn cybersecurity, but know that you must come back and impart. So we are even creating pathways for diaspora to impart our students. You have conversations, conversations virtually. Teach them what is happening there. Let's bridge the technology gap and things like that. So we must not demonize and be pessimistic about things, right? And be able to channel it down to the populace and be able to have it. That is the national consciousness and vision, and that's we're working with the National Orientation Agency also to be able to put these things in place so that it should not be an isolation and then it's just about protest and then activism. It's construction of the whole population, because this is our country. We're not going anywhere.
True. I'd like for us to explore another aspect of skills that are not really talked about much, in my opinion. That's soft skills.
Okay.
Beyond the hardcore skills you have of cybersecurity and what's not, we have things like communication skills, emotional intelligence, and they're also becoming very important in this stage. Why do you think those skills are also
okay? So
important?
Like I mentioned, in the agrarian age, in the industrial age, people were treated like machines. You resume by these locking, clock. So they are overlapping. So some are still very much in existence. So right. So what happened now is that most of these things that were happening is that the rise of technology thrives on relationship. We're talking about networking apps.
Yes.
The Twitter and the Facebook of this world, right? So it is very imperative that you value the next person, right?
True.
Even online. That's why we're having cyberbullying act and everything. That because we thrive on we are people, we are in the attention economy. So in the attention economy, all eyes are on you. I mean, all eyes are on you.
True.
As somebody, I opened my LinkedIn, I saw somebody say, I followed you, I was in a program where you spoke, and I would like to work with you. That's attention economy. So if I was in that place abusive, so in the industrial, you could just be in your desk, clock in, clock out, you are with your HR, you don't care, you go fighting. But all things reflect. Now, we have bloggers, we have reality TVs, people are monitoring what you are doing.
True.
Some people could be tracking for 10 years, following what you are saying online. So, because everything is fluid, the other side is that that means skills like ideas are dime in a dozen. If I put on my status right now that I need a graphic designer, I can get 200 before night falls. Everybody's refining everybody. Right?
True.
Like the space is very crowded. Of course, even on your phone you can do graphics, right? Look at how many minutes I sent that graphics to you, like minutes. It was by here I thought my team would do it. But now, so if everybody can have skills, we are going back to relationship. So relationship is key. So you cannot say I'm a tech guy.
No, I like emotional intelligence, or I don't
care.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can be replacing before night falls by 3 people.
That's set skill that you have.
Exactly. Your set skills are not that very unique. Yeah, money will flow to you. And that's what I'm telling my guys. You cannot be temperamental. You can't be throwing tantrums every time because you think you are valuable. Right? And AI is replacing skills like no man business. So what will be your edge? Why people want to keep is that I like that guy's statement. I like the way you relate. I like wow. You're such immune person. You're so conscious. So that means soft skills will be the king soon. So it's not just I'm a billionaire. So there are many people that have been cancelled. In fact, it's even rife in the West because of kicking a cat.
True.
Cancelled. I mean, entire career ruined because you are a celebrity and you kick your own cat that you bought your money and you are feeding. True. And after that video, you will still feed the cat. Can you see that? It's on many levels. So you have to now be conscious of how you treat your friend, your spouse, your children, everybody, because we're in the attention economy. All eyes are on you. Yeah.
So let's talk about learning without going back to school. I know you're someone who is passionate about students and schools, but some people are working and they don't have the luxury of going back to school. So how can such people be able to acquire skills, whether online? Is it a practical possibility for them to acquire skills without going back to formal education or schools?
Like I said, learning is the lifeblood of living. Of course, you learn consciously or unconsciously, right? So, but ability to put those learning into structural use, somebody call it functionality, that you are taught theory. Yeah, we've not created it, you are creating. With partners and organizations like ours, we're conscientizing the system to actually build structures to be able to midwife this continuous learning, right? Yes. And ability for people to be functional, that you are not just sitting duck for 4 years. What are you learning? I'm learning one course like that. And that course was conceptualized, the curriculum was conceptualized for 40 years ago, a decade that does not exist again. Then you are just left, you are a graduate. If you see, now most of the people that are downcasted or depressed more are people that have all these certificates. You can tell many of them unemployed that they can't even muster strength to actually, because their certificates have become their limitation, because the ingredients that are needed to actually make them functional in the real world was missing. So they were all conscious, my book, if I don't read my book, my shoe will not do cocoa. You know, those kind of things. That's how we all grew up in Africa. But we have to now begin to say, yes, go to school, but open your mind. So that's why people make distinctions between academic and education. So learning is continuous. And learning, like, you must increase your appetite for learning and structural learning at that also. True. Right? Take short courses, attend seminars, attend trainings, speak with industry leaders. Do you know how many trainings you can attend in a day? You don't have to, like, learning is very fluid. You can be joining spaces that are Spotify, YouTube, podcasts, you are listening, you are engaging. You don't know, your mind will not be in the same place where you started having that engagement. True. So those are the kind of things that people, so when you look at it and say, now this is what I just do, like I see even security men, maybe you are guarding a place, they are paying you maybe a stipend, like you have an Android phone with you. When you leave your duty post or you are a front desk person, you are using office Wi-Fi to always be watching K-drama. You do it yourself. Because something can happen. We can have a robot tomorrow to come and be the front desk. It's gone. Even a bartender. True. So that means and that's why maybe the president said the youth are lazy. But I think the whole country, the institutions, we are not thinking.
Are we not thinking
We are not
process?
thinking functionality like this. You know, like look at how many days. Even if you are a freelancer, look at how many holidays, how many days that everybody has shut down. Before we resume this economy fully now, we're talking about this 1 to 2 weeks.
Because it's the new year, and as we settle into the new year now, many people are setting their goals. If someone is watching right now and they want this year to be different for them, where should they start realistically, and whether it comes to skills and without overwhelming themselves?
Without
overwhelming, they should start, but not do too much that would burn them out already. It's January.
So you know, like somebody said, the frenzy of the new year, fine, you know, because the calendar is changing, account statement is changing, the new tax law is beginning, you know, a lot of things are starting. Everything is about your mind, right? Like somebody last year lost about 100 kg.
Weight.
Yes.
Wow.
In a
That's
year.
massive.
That's terrific. So I said on the program, on the TV interview, and I was talking about manifesting resolutions, and I said one of the insignificant thing about your resolution is the time you use in achieving it.
The time itself.
The time is like, okay, so I said that woman lost 100 kg in 1 year. What if she had planned for 3 years?
She must have lost more.
No. Like, it's for me as a reported speech. What how I can use to evaluate and appreciate it is that it's happened in 1 year.
Yes.
But it could have taken her more.
True.
So we saw Zimbabwe run for 3 minutes, but it took him more.
Yes.
It took him more to achieve that 3 minutes. But it's 3 minutes. So time is the value of measurement.
True.
But it's not the value of your intention. So on that, I would say ideas at times a dozen, and ideas don't rule the world. Decision rules the world.
True.
So the day you wake up is your morning. So when you say it's January 1st, January 3rd, January 2nd, it is that time your change is going to begin to happen.
True.
So when you are intentional and say, oh no, I want another skill, that is your time. And that is when you're going to find resources around you. Like I was saying I said, until you leave your house, you've been planning to go to Lagos. Until you leave your house, you will not know that there are 101,000 other people going to Lagos.
True.
So, but because you've stopped on that part, you will not see other people. But the day you say, oh, I want to change my diet, you go to the diet, so you will see 101 people story that, oh, I want to stop smoking. I shared a testimony of a guy that shared, you know, he doesn't like the habit he was doing. And I said, but the day he said he wanted to stop, help came. When you are genuine, when you make that decision, the whole world, your January 1st will just start.
work for you. So just to remind our viewers, I've been speaking with Ambassador Adegoke Victor, a workforce and development strategist, and we've been dissecting the topic titled Beyond Certificate, Thriving in a New Skill Economy. Now we are approaching the end of this conversation, but before we wrap up, in one sentence, what is the most important mindset that Nigerians would adopt to stay relevant this year with the evolving economy of skills?
You know, many people think that until they migrate, right? Because the migrations we've had, they are just institutional migrations, and that's why they're brain drain and everything. Is that the system have refused to change. I've engaged a lot of industry practitioners, even engaged government organizations and things like that. We are very slow to adopt to change, very critical, very afraid. For people that don't even invent the fintech, everything, all of us, we are building on Amazon, the cloud storage that is provided. We don't have that data center. You understand? So I think it is like this AI race is how fast we can adopt. We are not the one creating. Yes, we have the young guys creating the Silicon Valley and everything, but we have to accelerate change. I'm talking to government, I'm talking to institutional leaders, in government agencies. You can't be slow, right? So I hear every time, there's no money, and I've been thinking about with that a lot of time. Organizations are to support government, but if the money is there, what will you do? Right? That's a very troubling question. So if the money is not there now, do what you are supposed to do when the money is there.
True.
The day you step out of the water, you will discover you can walk on water.
Quite interesting. Thank you very much for such insights this morning, Mr. Victor. Now, as we've discussed, the future of work isn't just about choosing between certificate or skills. It is about understanding how both fit into a changing economy. Now, this new year offers opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow, no matter your age or background. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know and be willing to learn something valuable. And this is where we draw the curtains on this particular conversation. We're going to break. When we return, Global Morning continues.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem?
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to Global Morning Discussion segment. This is the second session of the discussion segments. This time around, we're talking a bit about sports, but meanwhile, we're not going to look at football at the moment, but we'll start with handball. Let's tell you that Nigeria's handball players ended 2025 with mixed outcomes, moments of promise, emerging talent, but also familiar challenges around funding, structure, and international competitiveness. As 2026 unfolds, the big question is whether Nigerian handball is finally on the brink of sustained growth or still stuck in a cycle of potential without payoff. Joining me this morning is Coach John Uzo, a respected handball coach and analyst. Coach, it's good to have you join us. How are you doing? Hello, Coach Uzo.
I am here with you. Good morning.
Morning, it's good to have you join us. Well, there's a whole lot to talk about handball. But let's begin with reflection. From your technical standpoint, how would you assess the overall trajectory of Nigeria's handball players in 2025?
Thank you for having me on your program, and I'm very grateful. Happy New Year to you and my
Happy
listeners.
New Year.
Handball last year was a beautiful experience for all the players and coaches. We had a tremendous growth in our players traveling out to big clubs outside Nigeria, ranging from France, Moldova, Azerbaijan, like that. A lot of places, even to our neighboring country, Benin Republic. A lot of our players had movement, which has really improved the standard of our national teams, mostly the senior male national team.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are really the Adova League exposed a lot of young players and talents, and I think tremendously we've done well for handball. Last year was a beautiful year.
Okay. So from what you had, would you say 2025 was more of a year of progress, or did it simply expose long-standing weaknesses with some of the challenges you encountered?
Yes, in terms of challenges, we witnessed a little here and there, mostly financing. We had one major handball sponsor with the help of the former president, Mr. Sam Ocheo. A lot was achieved and a lot were left behind because of the financial situations we witnessed in not just handball, a lot of sporting events. But thank God for the Chairman Sports Commission, Alhaji Diko, who has promised to do a lot for sports this year in terms of sponsorship. So we are looking forward to what the outcome of the sponsorship will be like this year. If we'll be able to attend tournaments and coaching courses and maybe other form of development in terms of materials and equipment and facilities. We're looking forward to it. But last year was a bit challenging for associations. I will speak for handball as I know. You know, camping is not easy. You camp for less than a month to attend international tournaments because the associations are the ones funding the camping, bringing players from all over Nigeria and having about 40 to 30 players in camp. It's not always easy for associations, and it was not a beautiful experience for us as coaches and the technical department last year.
Okay. So let's look at the brilliance, because we saw flashes of brilliance, especially from young players, but consistency remained a concern. In your view, did that inconsistency stem from players' quality, coaching system, or weak competitive exposure?
I will not blame it on coaching, but I will blame it more on inconsistency in participating in international tournaments.
Okay.
The more you play outside, the more you compete with other countries, the more you know your strength and your weakness.
Exactly.
But when you train a team continuously and they are not taking part in events, then you will not be able to assess their level of performance or growth as a coach. It's just like a child reading for an exam and then he's not taking any exam. So you won't, be able to assess whether the child is brilliant or prepared enough for a particular exam or not. So it is only when you participate in tournaments that you'll be able to assess whether the growth of your team is progressional or retrogressional.
Oh. All right,
Yeah.
so I see the progress and I see the dimension at which you had your passion to drive this team as a coach. But let's look at it. At elite level, what technical deficiencies stood out most? Was it decision making? Was it fitness or tactical discipline when it came to handball, basically?
Okay, like I'll speak, for coaches in Nigeria, we have a particular disadvantage. The facilities we use to prepare for tournaments are always substandard. For instance, you are going to play an international tournament. Handball, like we know worldwide, is an indoor sport. But we train outdoor to go and play in an indoor tournament. And you can never compare them. You can never compare them. The difference is always huge. The floor, first of all, that you are going to play on is quite different from the floor you have trained in. So by the time you get out, you are seeing a new floor, you are seeing the lighting system that is so bright. You play your matches in the evening, entering the night time. And then in Nigeria, you are training under the sun. So the comparison cannot be measured in any way. And then secondly, the coaches too are mostly not funded enough for them to attend international coaching courses, which grades you from D to A. Some of us are privileged to have gotten to the level of A and B, but so many of us too are still far behind. And we need the support of the Federation and the